Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestling Debate and to another edition of Raw Out of 10. It's a big show today because it's the go home show ahead of Clash at the Castle. And yeah, we also had the finals of the Women's Tag Team Tournament. Not sure why that wasn't just in Cardiff, but you know, it is what it is. That had very interesting results. So yeah, it's a big episode of Raw. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. We kicked off with a promo video before we headed for the first match between Judgment Day and the team of Styles and Ziggler. Ziggler and Balor kicked off the match, and tags were made early on with Priest and Balor in control of the match. Styles then came in with a drop kick, sending Priest out the ring, hitting a big dive. Back after a break, Balor tried to hit the Styles Clash before AJ came with a forearm and knocked in the calf crusher on Priest. Balor then helped Priest reach the ropes to back the hold before Ziggler wiped him out at ringside. Priest tried for the reckoning but took a kick from AJ before Ziggler tagged in and hit super kick while the ref was distracted by Styles. Damien came in with South of Heaven for Ziggler for the W. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really good stuff. Match was great, and yeah, I'll go into it more after the detail of what happened after the match when we saw footage of Edge entering the arena and the crowd chanted for him before Ripley and the Judgment Day returned to the ring and to call out the Hall of Fame. Vader said he was sick with WWE legends like Edge and how they got documentaries about them even after losing. Edge came out and took shots at the Judgment Day, saying Balor needs to get on his level while predicting that he would beat Priest on Sunday at Clash of Castle. Edge was a distraction while the Materials attacked the Judgment Day with kendos. Ripley and Dominic came face to face, but the latter refused to attack. Ripley then took away the kendo stick but then retreated by the team before Raw continued. The two teams will face a Clash of Castle and what looks like a really intriguing match, and yeah, I think that's going to be a great match. Edge and Rey Mysterio taking on two really established stars, and you know, Judgment Day, this is the best they've been booked in ages, so yeah, really good stuff. 7 out of 10. It was then time for Bliss, Oscar and Belair versus Mo, Arquette and Sparks, basically some jobbers. Belair starts off strong and hit a drop kick in the ring early on before Bliss and Oscar tagged in for double drop kicks on the rest of the team before Belair started showing off his stalling suplexes. Oscar then tagged in and hit a German before Bliss came in with a KOD. Oscar then was back in and got another lock before locking in the Oscar lock. After the match, the team called out Control and taunted them ahead of their match. And yeah, that's basically all we got from this. It gets a 5 out of 10 for me. I guess it's kind of just like a cheap way of building out a 6-man tag team match. To be honest though, yeah, I just didn't really feel it. It just kind of felt there. It's kind of like a time filler really. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I just kind of feel like there's a bit more they could be doing here. But anyway, Kurt Angle was out next. Since Raw was in his hometown, locking this was bringing back legends for hometown events and hype Clash of Castle. The Alpha Academy then came out, followed by the Street Profits. Chad said he respected Gable and invited him to join the Alpha Academy. Angle refused and offered to toss the t-shirt before Gable started shooting him. Angle and Gable shooshed each other for a minute or two before the latter ordered Otis to attack. The Street Profits then stepped into side Angle and they had a match. Ford and Otis kicked off the match and the latter hit a huge slam to start us off before Dawkins came in and sent Otis before taking out both him and Gable with a dive. Ford was then back in the ring with a stretch and now Gable to hit big suplex. Dawkins came in with a slicer and got on it for Gable then before Ford was isolated in the ring. Ford recovered and tried to get an ankle lock, but Otis broke his hand. Otis was then distracted by Angle and mouthing off of him before Dawkins took him out. Gable came in before Ford came in with a splash and picked up the win. After the match, they celebrated with Angle and had a drink. Angle spat up, drank and regained his composure before bringing out some milk and chucking it with the Street Profits. And yeah, just a bit of fun here. Really served its job, purposeful. Like I say, I like Legends coming back. And yeah, this was all it really needs to be. So 7 out of 10, good stuff. Riddle and Seth were then seen fighting in the arena before the show and during the interview on Raw. Rollins claimed that Riddle was not on his level. Riddle said he was scared of being embarrassed by him before he and Rollins hyped their match at Clash of Castle. Riddle also got mentioned as Matt Riddle by Corey Grace here. Thank God for bringing back the first names. Miz charged at Lashley right off the bat. Then, as we moved into the Miz-Lashley match, before being tossed around him and hit with a stolen vertical suplex, Miz then was sent out of the ring and Lashley knocked him down with a clothesline before he headed for a break. Back on Raw, an assist from Ciampa allowed Miz to bounce Lashley's head off the announce desk before sending him into the steps. Miz then got an earful off a big boot before Lashley countered with a dive and spiked him on the mat. Lashley then sent him hit tosses before the Miz dodged the power slam. Lashley tried for the spear, but Ciampa dragged Miz out of the ring in time. Lashley was then down in the ring after a sheet spot, and the Miz tried to get out of the finisher, but the crowd was stopped when he spotted Dexter Lumis. This distraction allowed Lashley to get the hurt lock and pick out the W. And yeah, gets a 6 out of 10 from me, setting out that Lumis Miz feud, which I think will be really entertaining. And Lumis there just cause havoc. But yeah, I mean, like, Lashley do really need to win to get that, I don't know. So yeah, on the whole, I'll give it 6 out of 10. It was alright, but you know, maybe could have been a bit better, you know. Edge then showed Kurt Angle some pictures of the old days, but written behind them were secret messages like "You still suck." The Mysterios then were seen talking about their upcoming match before he headed for a break on Raw, and the Usos were then out next, but with Sami Zayn before claiming that Roman was going to win at Clash at Castle, and the Bloodline was still running both brands. Kevin Owens came out and said the Bloodline had no power on Raw, and Reigns still owned him one. The Usos asked Sami to take care of his boy, and Sane said that Roman didn't owe anything. Owens said that Sami was making a fool of himself by being a clown for the Bloodline, and that he was sad to see it. Sami tried to explain that he was really friends with the Bloodline, and the trio before the latter walked up to the ring. Owens talked himself into a match with Jey Uso before he headed for another break, and the match went outside early on, and Jey was sent into steel sets before he headed for a break. Owens was then sent into the corner, but Usos unloaded on him with kicks but missed the splash. Owens set up and hit a cannonball before Jimmy ran the stretch, allowing Jey to counter a powerbomb on the outside. Jey then hit a super kick before dropping KO on the steel sets with a Samoan drop. Owens got a top rope move in the ring before getting a near fall off a swanton, before Jey blocked a stunner and KO blocked a super kick but caught the second one before Jey got a splash off a near fall. Jimmy then showed up on the apron and Owens hit super kicks on both Usos, getting a near fall off a frag splash. Zayn ran a stretch before Jey came in with a dive to the outside, and the ref was stretched and Sammy was about to hit Owens with a steel chair but failed to do so. Jimmy was furious while Owens hit the stunner in the ring and picked up the W. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really good stuff, like the intertwining of the relationships between Owens and Zayn. Finally looks like that's going to be a crossover point, how it all ties in the Bloodline. All this with the new aggressive Kevin Owens. Yeah, lots of love here, 7 out of 10 from me. Troll then said they were going to win the women's tag titles before the Miz was seen fleeing in his car, but Dexter Lewin showed up in a back seat as the vehicle pulled away, which was good stuff. Gargano was then backstage and said that he was looking forward to his ring return before Theory came in and said Gargano was jealous of how quick his rise was in WWE, further continuing that feud, which, it's kind of serviceable for now, isn't it? But anyway, next up was Io Sky and Dakota Kai versus Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Io and Aaliyah kicked off the match and Raquel came in early on to a near fall takedown. Outside, Kai drove Aaliyah into the steel sets before kicking Raquel into it as well. Rodriguez barely beat the rest count before he headed for another break. Back to the match, Sky cancelled the powerbomb and got a near fall before the distraction from Ray let Io get a double stomp and a moonsault for a near fall. Aaliyah then snuck up at the tag and immediately fell outside while Kai tried to roll up Raquel in the ring, but she rushed back to the ring and rolled up Kai for the W. And yeah, did not see this coming at all, but to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it. Raquel and Aaliyah, don't get me wrong, they're great. I'm kind of more invested in their tag team than many others, to be honest. But 5 out of 10 from me, because the control they came in and being so dominant, have them lose to kind of like a fairly unestablished team like that, I'm not sure about it, so it gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Overall, Raw this week gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It's a funny episode of Raw this week. There were some bits on here of the show that I really, really liked. Some bits, though, that I maybe wasn't quite a big fan of. Some maybe questionable decisions. I'm looking at you, the main event. But on the whole, it wasn't a terrible episode of Raw. Lots of interesting stuff. And, still much better than the Vince McMahon days, I would say. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. No thoughts, comments down below. Follow to the daily wrestling news. Subscribe to my channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.